Welcome to the Rural Revival Podcast. I'm your host, Dana Larson. Today we're with Brett Hubka of the Mural movement of Clay Center, Kansas. Brett's sharing how a simple service project around one mural turned into a movement that has now brought 33 murals to their town. When this all started, the community had no public art. Now, they're drawing in artists from around the nation and expanding their efforts beyond Clay Center to the entire county. And Brett's here to tell you all about it. And speaking of art and design, we've now expanded our design services at Branded by Rural Revival to offer logos, branding, and marketing assets. Already, you guys have been keeping us busy with your new logos and branding, and we're having a lot of fun with it. So if you need a logo or a brand refresh, we'd love to help you out too with building a brand you love. You can find out more at brandedbyruralrevival.co/design. And now, here we go with Brett Hubka. All right, well, we're here today with Brett Hubka of a Mural Movement of Clay Center in Clay Center, Kansas. Brett, thanks for being on the podcast.
Hey, thank you so much for having me, Dana. It really is an honor to be a part of this podcast, and you guys are doing so many great things for rural America, and we're just happy to be a part of it.
Well, I'm glad you're here. We have known each other for a couple years now, and I've just watched what you've been doing just grow and expand, and it's still going, and it's awesome. So I'm excited for you to share today.
Well, thank you so much. Looking forward to it, and hopefully your listeners can get a kick out of it and hopefully come visit us.
Absolutely. So before we get into the mural stuff, I want to know a little bit about you. I know you're passionate about small towns and rural America.
Yes, I'm from a small town in south central Kansas, Medicine Lodge, and famous for a few things, the Peace Treaty, the Carrie Nation home, amongst other things. But life then took me to K-State, and that's where I met my lovely wife, Carly, who's also from rural Kansas, up in Decatur County and Oberlin, Kansas. And so, rural Kansas is special to us. We have two daughters, and, we wanted to come back to a small town and raise our kids in a small town. The values that come from a small town are special to us. Having good friends, a great church, good schools, all those things, and we believe that we have that right here in Clay Center. So that's pretty special to us.
You found a good spot.
Yes, we did. Thank you.
Yeah. So how did you get involved in the community when you got here?
Great question. I'm a banker and here at GN Bank, and one thing that I'm involved with is our local Rotary Club, and I was the president of our Rotary Club back in 2020, if you remember that.
That fun year.
Exactly. So, well, anyhow, at our club, one thing we do is if you're the president, you get to pick a service project. It can be as little as picking up trash along the side of a highway, or as big as building a playground, which our club did back in the day. And well, we decided to paint a mural. That was kind of, the project, just one mural. And there was a K-State architecture and planning group that came to Clay Center and kind of did a design on a building, and it really looked great. And so it kind of captivated us, and we threw together a committee of 7 Rotarians, and the rest is history. It just kind of took off from there.
That was a good COVID-friendly project.
It really was. I mean, we were outside. It's still kind of strange. You look back and see some of the pictures, during that time with people are outside and even in masks, even here, and it just kind of makes you appreciate that we're kind of past all that.
Yeah, absolutely. So at the time, there was no public art in Clay Center, right?
Yeah, we had an old Coca-Cola advertisement that it was in an alley in our downtown area, and really that was it. So if you were passing through Clay Center on Highway 15 or 24, you'd never see it.
Yeah.
And it was tucked away in our downtown. All of the locals here in Clay Center knew it and loved it, appreciated it. It was a great spot to take pictures, whether you're a senior in high school or whatever.
Yeah.
But that was it. And so we just thought it was a big opportunity. Never did we know that one mural would turn into about 33 today. But it's really neat to kind of look back over the last 4 years to see what's all happened.
Yeah. So did you have a committee leading the effort?
We sure did. There was, myself and 6 others that are all in different cross sections of the community. I think at the time, 3 or 4 others were Rotarians, a couple other Rotary past presidents, and so it was definitely led by our local Rotary group, and it was really neat that the Rotary International magazine actually did a little article on our project, which was really neat to see. But yeah, all the credit goes to our committee for sticking it out. I know when I asked them, back in 2020 to be a part of this, they didn't sign up for a 4-year commitment. They thought it was going to be one mural and done. And so I sure appreciate them. And my wife, Carly, who's really helped spearhead our social media efforts. She's kind of our unofficial extra board member or committee member. So, but no, it's sure has been a group effort for sure.
Awesome. So with that first one, how did you get the funding initially?
Great question. So we were a part of our local community foundation's match day.
Okay.
So the Clay Center Community Improvement Foundation was vital for this. I think during that first community match day, we raised $15,000, and that really, I think, funded our first 3 mural installations in Clay Center. And so the first one I think was $5,000, and so it was fully funded. And then people loved it so much that they kept giving, and the funding kept coming and coming and coming, and that was just a really great thing to see. Because when we first had the idea, we said we're not going to have any roadblocks as far as red tape. We were going to come up with the design, the funding, everything, and that's just how it happened. And since then, it's worked pretty good.
Yeah. So that first one went up. What was the response from the community?
I think they just loved it. I mean, it's downtown in our downtown area. It's kind of a postcard style mural, where it says "Greetings from Clay Center, Kansas," and it has in each letter kind of imagery from our community that we're kind of known for or proud of, whether that be agriculture, hunting. There's a lot of we're pretty proud of the deer around here.
Yep.
We have a local zoo, so we have I think a peacock and a lemur in there,
Okay.
which is unique. For
That's right.
For a rural community our size to have a zoo, a free zoo. So it's really improved over the years. And then our mascot is the Clay Center Tigers, so there's a new bronze statue which is included in there. But then it's got like the skyline in there as well. And Steve McMahon owns the building. His one request was he wanted a plane in there. So we threw a little crop duster up there,
Perfect.
which was neat. But there's the response, was just overwhelmingly positive. A few pictures we had after that, which were really neat, was from one of our foreign exchange students who was here from I think Sweden. Took a picture, pointing at it, and that just gives you all the feels.
Absolutely.
When you see things like that. So it was overwhelmingly positive, and that's kind of what started the snowball, to kind of turn 1 into 33.
Yeah. So it obviously was a hit. Did you guys kind of lead the charge and say, let's do more, or were people asking for it?
Well, we had the funding to do the second and the third ones, so that was really neat. And then after that, the funding did just kind of snowball. We realized, we might be onto something here.
Yeah.
We knew we had knocked out 3, but I think in the next year, we knocked out 10. So
Wow.
It really, because we didn't really try to advertise after that match day, but we said, what if we at least try? And one of our committee members, Jacob Lormeyer, he just has the gift of writing, and we pinned some fundraising letters to some people that we thought might want to participate, and it worked really well. And we think we've been good stewards of our donors' money, and we hope that they think that as well.
Yeah. So once this started to take off and you realized we're going in this direction, what was your strategy to make each one unique?
Oh, great question. Yes, that was definitely our strategy, because in rural Kansas and rural America, most of our small towns are very alike.
Yes.
We're ag-based. And in our committee, we decided we want ag in our murals for sure, but we can't do every single one with a tractor and a combine.
Right.
So, we have a lot of, Americana. We have our third mural was the veterans atop Mount Suribachi raising the flag on Iwo Jima. And so, I think there's something for everybody.
Yeah.
Whether it's animals, our second installation was I don't know that you could call it a mural, but it was actually made out of Kansas license plates. It's more of a sculpture, but
Yeah.
we claim it as a mural, which is really neat. But we really think there's something for everybody. We did one at our local dog shelter. That's comprised of 5 sheltered dogs there, and so they're all unique in their own respects. But we knew we couldn't repeat the same thing over and over. And probably one of the common themes is that they're fairly conservative, not so much in a political sense, but they're not very controversial because back you look 4 years ago, there was a lot of controversy in our world.
Yes.
In many ways, and we kind of tried to avoid that and just keep it to where there was something for everybody, and that no major controversy of any kind.
Right. That's good. So once this kept growing and moving along, did you set a number of, let's achieve X amount of murals and try to raise this dollar amount of funding?
Oh, wow. So when the project started, we, no pun intended, we were kind of throwing paint at the wall to see if it would stick.
Yeah.
We had no idea. Our committee is comprised of a couple bankers, an insurance agent, a financial advisor, an art teacher. So we were not professionals. We were totally trial and error this thing. So we didn't really have a major goal in mind. I kind of joked with people that we would go as long as there was money and there were walls that needed painted.
Yeah.
And we haven't ran out of either yet. We've celebrated the different milestones. Once we hit 10, 20, and now 30 murals. And one added goal that we have now is to do a mural in every community in our county,
Yeah.
which is really neat. Clay Center is the county seat of Clay County, but and we've done murals in Longford, Greene, and Morganville recently, but we still would like to do one in Wakefield, and we think that that'll happen real soon.
Good. That's great.
Yeah.
And you have tapped into artists from literally all over.
Yes, we have. It's been really neat to see. We've had artists from California, Florida, Oklahoma, Texas, several other states, and I think it's up to about 9 different states right now. So it's been really cool to see this transform from a project where we couldn't get an artist to come to Clay Center because they had never heard of it.
Sure.
And we reached out to several artists, and they either said no or they ghosted us. And now we have artists that are reaching out to us. There was one recently from Virginia that messaged us that wants to paint a mural in all 50 states. And so that was really cool.
Yeah.
We've had an artist from Europe that wants to come over and paint a mural in Clay Center, Kansas. I mean, how cool is that?
Yeah.
So we really think that it's become a destination for tourists, people that enjoy and appreciate art, as well as artists themselves to come to Clay Center. So that part has been really neat to see.
Absolutely. And then it ensures every piece is super unique.
Yeah, absolutely. Because beauty is in the eye of the beholder, as we all know. And, we have murals that, when you have, a dozen different artists painting these things, there's going to be 12 different styles that,
Yeah.
So I think there's something for everybody.
Absolutely. How much money have you raised to date for this project?
To date, we've raised just shy of $300,000.
Amazing.
Which has been just really, all the credit in the world, I can't say it enough, goes to all of our donors that have participated in this project. The Clay Center Community Improvement Foundation, they've all played a huge role in this project. We have a bronze plaque downtown that kind of commemorates all the donors, and it's all the way from $100 up to $5,000. But we have so many local individuals and businesses, and as well as people from across the United States. I think we've had donors from about 20 different states, mainly alumni from Clay Center Community High School, which is so neat that that they want to give back. They may be living in Georgia or Washington, D.C., but they still care about what's happening in their hometown of Clay Center, Kansas. So just a really neat thing there. And the money continues to come in, and as long as it does, we'll try to do good things with it and hopefully produce some good public art.
Absolutely. And have grants played a role in that?
Absolutely. So recently, the Clay Center Community Improvement Foundation awarded us with an $8,000 grant,
Great.
which is going to help us do another mural coming up here later next month, which I think we'll get to here a little bit later.
Yes.
And then, so we've also been awarded some grants through Rotary, our local club, and our district. So that was very vital to getting the project off the ground. And then through the Kansas Creative Arts Industries Commission. Gosh, try saying that 5 times. But it's basically a state of Kansas arts grant that we were awarded with. But yeah, so all in all, I think the grants have given us probably about 10% of our total funding, give or take.
That's great. What has this done for your community?
Well, I'd like to think it's made it look better aesthetically,
Yeah.
and I think it's given people an added reason to stop through Clay Center.
Yeah.
We do get a lot of traffic. We're only about 35 minutes from Manhattan.
Yep.
Where Kansas State University is. So we get a lot of traffic from Western Kansas coming through Clay Center on their way to K-State. So I hope it gives them an added reason to stop along their way, and hopefully it gives people a reason to visit Clay Center. We have a lot more than just the murals. We
Yeah.
have, like the zoo, like I mentioned before, but some new walking trails. We have a brewery, a famous bakery and coffee shop. So there's a lot here to offer in Clay Center, but I think it's re-energized our town. It's taken some walls that, in our downtown area that have been kind of abandoned, and it's really spruced them up. So I think that's very common across all of rural America, is
Right.
unfortunately, but hopefully and hopefully people appreciate the art as much as we do.
Yeah. So a couple years ago, I did a survey called the Live Rural Survey, and I wanted to find out what people wanted in their small towns. And the number one thing that people wanted more of, this was a complete surprise to me, was arts and entertainment.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's interesting. I mean, I feel like it is kind of good for the soul. One of our murals is downtown across from our elementary school and adjacent to a dentist's office.
Yeah.
And it just has the bright, colorful message, "You are loved." And it's just such a great message. And we get more pictures with that, with the middle school, high school, college kids, right in front of that. And I don't like going to the dentist. And so maybe if I saw that, it would make me feel a bit better. But I don't know. That's a really special one right there, especially with all the, mental health issues we have going on in today's society. Just to see that is pretty powerful.
Yep. That positive message. So are you out of space now? Do you have to get creative with where you put new murals?
We're getting there, but there are still some available spaces. There's a very large grain bin downtown. That's our next project. Going to start next month with Christian Stanley, and we're really excited to see what he does with that. I can't give away our concept, but it does have a bit of a Kansas theme to it.
Yes.
But it's going to be a 3,000 square foot mural, and it'll be very visible with people passing through Clay Center on Highway 15. And so we are having to get a little bit creative. I know that there are some spaces, but they're not going to be the most public of viewing.
Sure.
And that's important to our project. I mean, we want these murals to be in a public space.
Yeah.
Although we have done 2 murals in schools, which has been very rewarding, in both our Lincoln Elementary and our middle school. So
Okay.
both in their gymnasiums. So I know it's not necessarily public, but those, I tell you what, have meant as much as anything when
Sure.
we've done those projects.
I love that. Yeah, you gave me a sneak peek of this new design. It's really awesome.
I'm glad you like it.
Yeah.
I wish I could give away more, but like we were discussing before we came on air was, when you do give away that design, you can't really see the mural come to life as it's
Right.
being painted. So I don't know, stay tuned and follow us on Facebook or Instagram to kind of see the progress.
And then come see it in person.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You guys have done a great job of monetizing this beyond just the murals. And so talk about some of the creative things that you've done.
Yeah, great question. So we've partnered with our local Grow Clay County. They're kind of like, our chamber and travel and tourism. And we have a few products that we've used to help fundraise the project, from coffee cups to pint glasses,
Yep.
T-shirts, and we can't keep these items stocked. So if you're in Clay Center, Grow Clay County is right downtown next to the Rex Theater. You can't miss it. But they have, everything from mural magnets, stickers, coasters, anything and everything you could imagine. And the funds, go to a good cause, back towards our mural project. And If it gives people, something to remember Clay Center by, that'd be a great thing. But one of our most famous murals that we've done recently is the Sunflower State of Mind mural.
Love it.
So if you are a Kansan, if you're from Kansas, and stop by, and we have some Sunflower State of Mind apparel and things that would be great to, add to your wardrobe, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. So I just loved that. I thought that was a really creative, fun way to just take it further. So, well, what's next for you beyond the grain bin painting?
Well, I would say what's next is, it's been so rewarding to help other communities across the state kind of start their own mural projects. We've, helped from Hiawatha up in northeast Kansas. They've done a few projects. Holton, Kansas, down in Harper, Kansas. That has been probably some of the most rewarding things, just trying to be an ambassador for our project and helping other communities across Kansas and the Midwest kind of get these off the ground. When you go to an urban center such as Kansas City, you might see a mural on every block, but you don't see as many in rural towns across Kansas and the Midwest. So if we can help, explain to folks what we've done and had success with, and it helps some other communities, then, I think we've done a good job.
Yeah, I agree with that. You've inspired a lot of people along the way. You spoke to our Cultivate group a couple years ago, and people are still asking me about that. Hey, can you send me that interview? So, you're having a really cool ripple effect.
Good. Well, that's so rewarding to hear, and I hope we can look back on these because, these murals, they're not necessarily permanent, but they're going to last a long, long time, and and hopefully we can look back when several years from now and know that we made a difference.
Absolutely. Well, how do we follow along?
Well, I would say look us up on Facebook, Mural Movement of Clay Center, and we are on Instagram as well. And those would probably be the two best ways to follow along and see our progress. And we have a YouTube channel. We're not as busy on there, but there are a few videos of our murals that shot from a time lapse and from a drone, which is really neat. But those would be the best ways to follow along or get in touch with us.
Absolutely. And you guys have created this really great map that just outlines where all of the murals are. So when you come to town and visit, grab one of these and follow it around and go check out all the murals and get some great Instagram photos.
Absolutely, yes. So tag us, with Mural Movement, and we'll be sure to see it. But we have 2 map stations in downtown Clay Center. You can't miss it. There's also some new wayfinding signage that they put both on Highway 15 and 24 that will direct you to the mural walk. So that's been cool to see that they've done that. But follow along with the map. The weather's getting nice right now, so it's perfect time to get out there and walk along. Most of our murals are in downtown within walking distance. So, but no, let us know when you're around, and we'd even be happy to show you around.
Yeah, it's an easy destination and totally worth the trip. So, all right, Brett, thanks so much for being on the podcast, and congrats to you and the board for all that you're doing. It's really impressive.
Well, thank you again, Dana, for all you're doing for rural America and for taking the time to come to Clay Center.
Yes.
And, it's so neat. We are honored and humbled by that. And we just invite all your listeners to come and do the same.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I love so much about this project and how the community has rallied around this. And I'm excited to share that the new grain bin mural that Brett mentioned is now finished, and it is so incredible. It's just stunning. So go to the blog. You can find pictures there, and you can check out the socials for a Mural Movement for Clay Center, where you can see some behind the scenes and how that mural was created. I want to give a shout out to Brett and the Rotary for their leadership of this project. 33 murals in 4 years is a lot, and they have put a lot of time and effort into this. So it's really great to see all their hard work paying off. And for you, our listeners, I want you to make Clay Center a part of your travel plans this summer. This is something really fun to experience, and you will not be disappointed. Huge thanks to Brett for being on the podcast, and thanks to you for tuning in. Have a great day, everybody.